next week is the 80th anniversary of the Normandy landings on D-Day, which is going to be marked, of course, all across the BBC and indeed the entire country with many special programmes and events.
Yes, and one man marking the anniversary is children's author Michael Morpurgo, who's written a book centred around the historic day, and Angela Rippon went to meet him.
What about Alfie? I asked. What happened to him?
Michael Morpurgo is a former children's laureate, an award-winning author, best known for his critically acclaimed First World War story, War Horse.
But now he's turned his attention to the Second World War, telling the story of one soldier's war from the beginnings right the way through to D-Day.
Michael grew up in the village of Bradwell-on-Sea in Essex, and so did the hero of his new book, Finding Alfie.
Michael, you are very familiar with this lovely little village because you grew up here, didn't you?
Yes, I lived in a house just down the road from here. So I had a bicycle, and my brother had a bicycle, and we'd cycle up that road. The whole place became our kingdom. You know?
Yes.
So I'm at home here.
Well, it is also the kingdom of the hero of your new book, Finding Alfie. Who is Alfie, and who's looking for him?
Well, I'm looking for him. In fact, the central character, the searcher, is called in the book Michael Morpurgo, which shows you how inventive I am.
The book starts with a young Michael and a painting left by his Auntie Iris.
The picture is of a boat, and he's fascinated by it because he's known all along that there was someone in his auntie's life called Alfie, and no one knows who Alfie was.
And the story progresses as we find Alfie in various situations in the Second World War.
Yes.
The plot takes the child reader through two pivotal moments of the war, Dunkirk and D-Day.
So Alfie's story really reflects both the darkest times and the times of hope at the end. That's why I wrote it.
Michael has used local landmarks in this story. St. Peter's Chapel is just outside Bradwell village.
Michael, this is such a fascinating location, and it's an important part of the story, isn't it?
It's where the young Michael, searching for Alfie, comes to rest. Then in the morning, this strange man comes in, and he's the one who knows Alfie.
What I love about your books, Michael, is that you take actual situations from history and then you weave them into a story.
That's the nice thing about fiction. You can use truth, but then mix it up a bit.
And this weaving of fact and fiction continues in the story. Alfie starts as a young lad, rescuing soldiers from the beaches of Dunkirk, and goes on to become a soldier fighting at D-Day.
What is the importance of putting D-Day in the book?
Well, D-Day was the beginning of the end of the war, and D-Day was critical, crucial. Without those men charging up that beach and going through Europe and liberating Europe, there would be no Europe and no freedom.
For Michael, it's important to keep passing on this history to children. So back in Bradwell-on-Sea, he's visiting a school.
I grew up here in Bradwell.
To share some of his new story with them.
He was always drawing. We have a drawing Alfie did for us. He liked to draw, and boats. He liked boats. He was a fisherman, you know. He was a brave man, a good man.
What do you think you learnt about the war from the book?
That everyone sacrifices their life just for people to live.
Even though they didn't want to, they had to do it. People go to war, even if they're young, even if they have family.
Michael, what is the one most important thing you want children to take away from your latest story?
It's passing on the tale on how war has affected the world around us. They have to feel at the end of it there's hope and that there is goodness in the world. And they've got to make up their own minds about it.
Oh, thanks so much, Michael. And his book, Finding Alfie, a D-Day story, is out now.
And next Wednesday, we'll be bringing you a special extended one-show dedicated to the memory of our D-Day heroes.
So if you have any family D-Day stories, maybe you have a relative who served on that momentous day, please do email in and tell us all about them and send your pictures in too.
Make sure you do.